Now I'm here in source com.learn. Okay, so inside com.learn I want to create another package. Let's say com.learn.math. Okay, so how can I do that?
Inside a package, we need to do another package.
Yeah, basically all these are com is a package, right? Then inside that com currently learn is a package also. Package means a folder currently, right? So inside learn I want to extend it again another inside learn I want to keep math another folder. So how can I do that?
Yeah, right click and choose a package. New
Right click new, then
Java class.
package here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, then
Then we can write the package name.
math. Okay,
Mhm.
so hit enter. Okay, I got another package. Now I want to create a class inside this. Okay, let's do calculator. Okay, I want to do go for a what I can do. Okay, I want to create an interface. Okay, so I can do that.
We can click on the Java class,
Okay,
then interface.
okay, and name it as interface. I'll do uh, I. I stands for the interface calculator. Okay, something like that. We can do to denote interface as I, start with I or something like this in calculator. Then INTF, something like that, or interface something. But it's better you can write the I first or I at the end. Better to write the I at the first. I calculator, something like that. Okay, I created a calculator here. Okay, now think about the calculator. So in the calculator, we can have go for a like a basic calculator, simple calculator, and we can go for a scientific calculator, right? Or maybe there are maybe more advanced calculators are there. So as this is an interface, right? So why did I choose interface rather than a class here? Because I wanted to make sure it is it will support some of the methods which my other calculators will implement. So I need to create a abstract blueprint here for the other calculator to implement. So basically I'm just putting a guideline, okay, for other whoever is going to manufacture a calculator, they should have all those buttons or functionalities, right? So that blueprint or that layout I'm going to start in the interface. Okay, so can you think of some functionalities any calculator will have?
Addition, subtraction, multiplication, all those.
Okay, what else we can have? So the addition, okay, the addition, what can be the return type will be? After adding two numbers, what will be the return type I should return?
Float or double.
Okay, float or double, right? So then it will be public, let's say. Then return type. Now after public, that's the access modifier. Then the return type, right? The return type, let's say double. I'm giving you. Then let's say add. Okay. Then add of what? Then here it comes. See here. Now add I can put like this, and but while doing an addition of something, right? So addition, at least we need two numbers to start adding with, right? It can be two numbers, three numbers, four numbers, more than that also. So but at least we need two numbers, right? So that's how you are coming up with the two parameterized fields here, right? So let's say, because this is a blueprint, this is a concept you are writing here, so just for your kind of formulas, right? So you need two numbers, either they can be float, integer, or double, right? So let's say here we are going to take, let's say, double. Okay, so whatever number you want to take, you also give that data type here, then it's just a variable which is gonna hold your actual number. So let's say here in this case A, then the second number, let's say B, right? Then inside that, basically once the values will be passed to your A and B here, so you are actually not, you are not supposed to write here like double 4 or double 5. Some very basic beginners, they might end up like this, trying to do like this. That doesn't work like that way. Okay, we are just trying to write a formula here. We should give the abstract formula, right? Like A and B. Then let's say I can do it here in a single statement, that return A plus B, something like that, right? I can do that too. So what is happening here? Why it is showing me error? Okay. Oh, okay, because can you tell me now why it is showing me red?
It should be private or
There is no body here. It's mentioned in this.
Interface
We have to
abstract methods.
we have to just define a method, not take not define.
Okay, we shouldn't give a body here. That's what it means, right? Because as yesterday we discussed, any methods we declare in an interface, by default they should be public,
Default.
abstract, right? They're by default public and abstract, right? Correct. So as we didn't put also, those should be automatically public and abstract. But if it is abstract, then we are giving a body here. That means it is breaking that rule of abstract, right? And we told that as it is, we are using maybe here Java 11, which is higher than Java 1.8, right? So in this case, as we are giving body, then in that case, we should make it as a default, or we should make it as a static. Okay, in that case also it will work. But if you want to keep, you don't want to give the calculation here itself, if you don't want to put that implementation here, then don't do that. So keep like this, and in that other way you just take out this one. So that means it became a public and abstract. Got it? So it will be happy. So basically we are not implementing what the how the addition is going to be happen here. So you are just saying that, okay, my method need to accept two variables. That's it. So what it is going to do with those two variables, we are not defining it here. So that's the interface. Okay, you are just keeping that implementation part for whoever is going to implement this interface. They are going to, or they are supposed to provide that body. Got it? So similarly, let's do for let's say subtract. So similarly here also you can do that, x and y. So we are not going to give that body. So can I give a and b here also again? Can I gave it here a and b, right? Can I give it a and b here again too?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Why is that possible?
it's a different method.
Yeah, good. So remember that anything here in the parameters we are putting any variables, those are also local to that block. Okay, so something is called scope. I will gonna explore, or will learn that one later. Okay, so yeah, just to give you a brief, so anything inside these brackets we are passing, those are called parameters, and these parameters basically are local variables. Okay, in for this method, so their scope will be remain inside this method. So once that is execution done, so the a b will be not be available. So basically those are kept in the stack. There is a concept called stack memory. Those will be kept in a stack. So once the method execution done, so the stack will be destroyed. So basically you can reutilize then again the same named methods, sorry, same named variables again. So that's why it is okay to have the same name again. Got it? So that's why there is no complaint. So let me make another one. Let's say, okay, I made four abstract methods here in my calculator, right? So now let me see. Now I want to implement this one in I'm gonna go create a simple calculator. Okay, so let me create in the same inside the math package. I'm going to create a class called simple calculator, or maybe basic calculator, and I can have another scientific calculator. Okay, something like that. So, and what I'll do, I don't want to start from the beginning. I want to implement those rules which we define in that interface. So I'll make this basic calculator implement that I calculator. Okay, so now I started implementing it. So it will keep complaining that I didn't implement the methods inside the I calculator, right? See here what it is saying. Basic calculator must either be declared abstract or implement abstract method add double in the calculator. Okay, why it is telling only add double? Because that's the first method it is finding. Then if we keep adding them, then it will ask for to implement the second one again. Okay, then the third one, like that. It will keep asking. So what is the best way? So the best, so okay, it is telling two things to do. Okay, to get past of this compiler error, it is saying that either you declare this class as an abstract. Remember this thing. Okay, see, the compiler error is gone. So create that class as abstract, or give implementation to all the methods the interface has not provided any body. Okay, so the other way is that, like, take your mouse over there and choose the implement methods. Okay, select all the methods you want to do, in this case all the four, say okay. Now here it automatically created those overridden methods for us. Now it is our job to basically put the logics here, right? Put all the logic here and accordingly change the return statement also, because if you don't return the actual result here, it is always going to return 0, right? Although you do some, let's say you do some a plus b, but you forget to store that one, let's say, sorry, what is that, double, right? Double, let's say c, inside c variable we are storing. Now the logic is done, but you are always now returning 0, right? So there will be a bug. So what you should do now, after calculation of c, you should delete this 0 part here. Rather you should return back c, right? Because that's the result you got after adding a plus b, right? That's the formula, and c is your result of that formula. So you're supposed to return c here, so don't keep just 0. Okay, so that's why always revisit your code, what you have done, and what's the logic, is it working fine or supposed to work fine. So this is in two statement, right? You can see I have kept in a c variable, then returning c. So this is one way. Other way, actually many people also will do, rather than creating another variable and putting that into memory, rather you can directly do a plus b here itself, and it will return back automatically after adding those two values. Okay, It will not store those values in any variable, rather it will add them and it will just return back. So that is also okay. And most probably many people do like this. Okay. So that's the thing. So similarly, subtract also, we are going to do the first one minus the second one. So x and y. So even you have option to do y minus x. Nobody's stopping you. Okay. But actually based on the logic, based on the whatever requirement, right, accordingly you are going to do the calculation. As we are taking here x minus x and y, some like abstract variables, that's why we choose to do x minus y, right? But in real life, let's say in real life or a banking application, let's say this value will be your total bank uh, bank account balance. Okay, that kind of balance. Now you want to withdraw some money, right? So that will go by, basically withdraw means subtract, right? So or it will have the withdrawal method name here rather than subtract, right? So that time what we'll do, that withdraw actually doing some calculation regarding the subtraction, right? From the total whole balance you are just withdrawing some money, right? Let's say withdraw amount. Okay, so in that case you cannot just do withdraw minus total balance that time, right? It has to go logically. That time it is bound to be only you should deduct from out of total balance whatever withdraw amount, right? So basically that's why I told, depending on the logic you have to take that decision from which variable to which variable you need to calculate, right? You got the point? But as we are dealing with just x and y, we can choose from to deduct x minus y or y minus x. That is up to us. And always x should be the greater amount here, obviously. Otherwise what will happen? It will return a minus value for you. Now similarly multiply also, let's say a star b, right? The star is for the multiplication, and for division, let's say x, division symbol is this one, the forward symbol, x and y. Got it? So we just created a basic calculator, okay, with having addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay, now let's say we can have also okay, now notice one thing. My basic calculator is basically able to given all the things here, right? So I'm going to create another class, let's say called what do you call, scientific calculator. Okay, so remember, scientific calculator also has all the basic functionality of the basic calculator. Along with that, it has more functionalities like to calculate radian, calculate square roots, calculate cos theta, sin theta, all those things, right? Or some more derivatives also, maybe integrations it can calculate, right? So we don't want to implement here, but we'll just try to mimic that. Okay, our scientific calculator can calculate, let's say sin theta, cos theta, all those things. We'll just try to mimic them. We're not going to create, or maybe we'll just try to put some logic. Okay, now tell me here one thing. Now based on our requirement, should I implement now this class? Should I make it implement to the I calculator to take all the methods and start the logic from here? What is your suggestion?
Yeah, we can implement because those are the basic thing. In scientific also, we can use them.
Okay, so that is one way. Can we also implement or extend this basic calculator?
Yeah,
What's your suggestion, Gayatri?
Yes, we can extends. It's a,
Okay,
again we not write coding, right? It's a code saving.
so yeah, that's the beauty of extending or implementing, right? You are not, you don't want to rewrite the thing which already has already written something, right? So somebody has put their logic already and you want to reuse the code, right? So here in the same case as we talked about in our scenario here, it's perfectly fitting that requirement, right? And a scientific calculator can also be operated as a basic calculator, right? So logically, a basic calculator, whatever functionality has, a scientific calculator also can provide the same functionality if you don't try to use the scientific way also, right? So rather than why to reinvent the thing again, why should I start again implements iCalculator again, right? I have to again write all those things we have already written in the basic calculator here, right? So rather than doing that, what I should best do that I should extends is the keyword to do some extension or extend to another class. Okay, so a class should always extend to another class. Okay, but a class should implement a interface. That's the difference. Okay, so now I should extend the functionality. Basically you are borrowing all the mechanisms from the basic calculator by using the extends keyword. Okay, so this way, even though I write any single line now or single method, all those 4 methods will be found in the scientific calculator here. Okay, why? Because those methods I have written as public. See, so by default you will get it. Okay, that's the beauty. Now see here in my scientific calculator, I didn't write a single line of code here. Now let me create a test class. Okay, let me create a test calculator. Now let me write the main method here, main. Okay, now let me create object of scientific calculator. Now scientific calculator, so how do you create object? Mamta, can you tell me?
using the new keyword scientific
Now
calculator.
here I am on the first statement. What should I write here?
The scientific calculator
Okay,
space object one.
object one, or best to give the same name. Okay, if you are an IntelliJ, do control space here, automatically it will suggest you what name it can give. Okay, so it is suggesting to take calculator or scientific calculator. Okay, so as I'm choosing scientific calculator, what it will do, basically it will just start with the small case letter for that same object name, and getting it is basically the same name but with the starting with a small case. That's the standard, actually everybody do. So we can take that name, so it will be more meaningful or can be more understood better. Scientific calculator, that's became my reference. Now what should I write here?
New scientific calculator.
New scientific calculator, right? As we didn't provide any constructor in my scientific calculator, so by default the JVM will give me this default constructor automatically, right? This part you are clear, both of you, right? So I was able to use the default constructor here inside scientific calculator. I got an object now, so this object automatically got now when I run this one, by this time also it will not get created. now when I run this main method, that time this scientific calculator object will get created on the heap memory, okay, or somewhere in the memory, and that is called a heap memory because this is object type. Got it? Now I got an object. Now how do you try calling all the methods here? So use the reference here. In this case, this is the name of that reference. So just reference, then dot, then see all the public methods. It's ready to use, okay. So let's say add or divide, like let's go for add, okay. Now here is the thing. Here see, it is suggesting, IntelliJ is suggesting that the first parameter should be a double A and the second parameter should be double B, okay. Notice here while sending those data, I shouldn't write double 5 then double 6, something like that. I shouldn't write, okay. Rather, I know that this, okay, if you hover over this mouse here, you can notice here that it is looking for double add, then the value should be a double and the second value should be a double. So in your mind, you should send such a value that it should be a double. You shouldn't write the value. Writing part is done in that formula or that class, okay, which you are trying to call. So rather you should actually send a value which is of type double, okay. So in this case 5 and 6 you can send. These are not double values, okay, these are integer values, but what will happen, it will automatically, there is some concept called typecasting. It will automatically typecast integer values at runtime for you to as a double. So basically double is a bigger bucket, okay, integer is a smaller bucket. So a smaller bucket's content can easily fit inside a bigger bucket, right? Or you can write, let's say 5.0 like D, that is for double value, okay, or 6.4 double, like this also. So double values are you just use a D after the value, and there is a period here that's called a decimal. Got it? So after decimal, you put the decimal values or decimal points, right? 5.09, or here I can write 5.6.49. That is absolutely fine, okay. That is one way. Even double also can hold float values, right? So float, how do you write float values? You can write, let's say 3.5, and for float values you write append at the end as a f, small f, that will be treated as a float value, okay. And let's say 2.4 and f, okay. So even float is a smaller bucket than double, right? You know that, right? So basically int then float. So int is lesser than a float bucket and float is lesser than a double bucket, okay. So double bucket, I mean to say the actual how much integer or bytes a double can hold is very much more than a float, and float is more than an integer, okay. So there are some when these are get converted into memory, basically how much data they can hold, those sizes I am talking about, okay. So integer will be some I don't remember exactly, you can just look up in the documentation or Google it. So what I mean to say, so float can hold more data than integer and double can hold more data than float. So obviously the more data than int, okay, that's how it works. Now obviously I can then add a integer value also, like 4 and 6, okay. So these are okay. So notice here that I'm just sending actual values from here. I'm not writing that double again, okay. So as a starter, some people do that mistake, try to mix up the things, okay. They start writing again double, but that will keep give you errors. So this is how it works. So now it will basically calculate if if you do a control and click here on your keyboard, it will come to here, right? So that value will be passed to here, the first one, then the second value will be passed to here. This thing happen at runtime, okay? So you don't have any, you cannot do that. If you do the run in a debug mode, you can see basically where the control execution is going. We'll learn the debugging part later. So once the values are actually passed here, then those A, B are now getting added here, and that's the logic we wrote, and then become returning back. So returning means what it is doing, okay? So there's the after addition, this method again, whoever called will return back the control of execution to the same method, okay? Whoever called it, okay? So let's say 5 plus 6 means 11 will return back. Who called here? Maybe from our test calculator. Here it is, let's say calling, or let's say here it is calling 4 plus 6. So 10 will come back to here on this line, okay? Now as it is returning 10, I'm not holding that value back, okay? So if I try to run it, you will not see any result on your console, right? Because I'm not printing or not holding it somewhere. I'm just calling those add, and those results are getting lost somewhere. Let me try to run. Okay, this is because of this error. Okay, I forgot to actually show you in the presentation mode. Okay, is it better now? So what I was telling, so I'm calling from here. Actually the execution will start here. See what is the thing. So this is the class. Now we have the main method. So when you do a right click and start run, so the execution will start from this main methods, okay? So the actual JVM will try to come here, okay, try to run starting from your main method. It will try to run this one. So this first line here, line number 6, it will try to execute. So the execution, it will part of this logic here, it will create that object, okay, and create that reference here. Now it will come to line number 7. So line number 7, this reference is calling this a method. So this dot operator you use to call any variable or a method, right? Any member of that particular object. So in this case, who is the object? This is the reference. Who is the object? This is the actual object, okay? So inside this object, you will obviously have these methods. So the dot add, it is just not coming from somewhere. It is coming part of this object itself, right? Because that is the object. So you are giving a name to it, and based on that name, you are calling it, okay? Do this add. So this add is obviously part of this calculator, okay? You can just say like that. So now the control of execution will go inside this add method, okay? So what you are passing now? Two values here, okay? In this case, double value, two double values you are passing. So while here, now on the keyboard, press Control, and on your mouse, click on the add. See, now it will come here. So those first value will copy to here. It will actually copy, okay? So there is a concept called copy by reference and copy by value in Java, okay? So that's a in a typical interview question, they will ask in interview, what is copy by, is Java is basically copy by a value or copy by reference, they will ask you, okay? So that is a concept you should understand. So that particular value, whatever you are sending 5 point something, it will get copied to this A, okay, and that other value will get copied to this B. So that value is, you are not changing, those value will get copied to here. So that value get handed over to A, and the other one will get handed to B, and you are doing calculation on this copied value on AB, right? So if you change anything, even if you change that A equal to now, let's say 10 here, will that value will get changed there in my previous whoever called? Can you tell me, anyone?
Yes, it will change.
Will it change back here? Will it get changed as 10 here?
Yes.
No, wrong.
Why?
You are passing this value, as I mentioned, you are just passing this value to this A, and inside this A you got the copy of that value 5 point thing, okay, and on top of that A you are doing the operation on this block, okay, as 10 you are appending as a 10 now, okay. Sorry, you are replacing that A value to 10, so that copy gets replaced as 10, so that previous value whatever you are sending from here, that remains unchanged, okay. Got it? So you can just try yourself. So let me, so got the picture. Let me now just comment this one. We'll see that one later. So let me, as it is returning a value, right? After adding it, it is returning value, and that value is getting lost somewhere, right? Because if I do run it, see, I don't get any console. Okay, so to do that, what should I do? Either I capture it inside a result, let's say result 1, something like that, and then you do a print statement here, right? What is that? S out, right here, S out, and print that result here for that first result for the addition. Right now if you do run, you will get that on the console here. See here, 11.8. so that is one way. Now you are capturing, so normally at what scenarios you need to basically capture it in a value then print it, what scenario? So in only particular scenarios you need that statement whenever you want to use this particular value, rather again, let's say again you want to do some calculation on top of that, right? You want to do result, then let's say you pass to another, let's say division, let's say that result what you got, you want to use that value to pass to multiply, right? Result 1 you want to, on the result 1 you want to just multiply 2, okay. That kind of scenario you don't want to lose whatever result came, that's why you captured in the double and you are using that value again to do something, right? That time scenario you can capture it in a variable, okay. But if this is not the case, only thing is that you just need to print that one, then you don't need to capture it inside this value, okay. Rather what you can do, you just call this one inside the print statement, okay, like this. That way also what will happen, whatever the logic is getting called here, add, whatever value gets returned back, it will return to this print statement, and that will automatically print on the system, same thing like the previous one, okay. See here, the same thing. Got it? Now the same thing, the other one, let me do some print statement here too. So for simplicity, we are not going to do any more operation. So that's why I'm just printing them there itself. Got it? See here, all the three I got. Now to test out your logic, let's see, I'm just passing here 5.A.B, okay? Let me, you know how the variables work, right? How the reference type work. I have hard coded, this is called hard coding, okay? This value you are sending as a parameter, you are hard coding here as 5.0.8. Rather than hard coding here, let me pass that one as a value, okay? Double, this is a double value, right? Let me give it as a name here. Let not to confuse to give as a, let me give it as a some other name, okay? Let me give as val1, Okay, and take out this value from here, paste it here, and similarly create another value called val2 and take this part from here and put it here. Okay, so now what you need to do, basically this is the reference you created. Now in this case this is not a reference, actually this is a what you call primitive variable we created, right? So or in other case it is a literal value. So that variable you just give it here. So at runtime what will happen, it will resolve this value, it will take from here. In this case it will take that this one, replace this thing with the actual value here, okay, at runtime. But for time being we are making it dynamic, we are sending it from here. Okay, and the second one, let's say now. So got it. So it is basically the same thing. Previously as you are sending the value here, now we are sending it as a variable. So why I'm doing this, I just want to show you that this value one, okay, let me print that one also. So the system.println, let me put this one, value one. What is the value of one previously before calling that add method? Okay, then I'm gonna print it after the addition. So that way we'll come to conclusion that that value is not changing, okay, even after that addition, and we reassign that value on the addition side. Getting my point, what I'm trying to achieve here? Sorry, value one. Okay, let me say before add, and this is after add. That's how I want to test, right? So what I'll do in the add, whatever value is coming here, let me assign back it to that first value, in this case a. I'll assign back 10, not, let's say it comes as 5.6. Rather than taking that, I'm gonna take as 10, okay, 10.0 maybe. Got it? So as you are saying, if I'm assigning back 10.0 here, so here you mean to say the val1 previously was 5.09. Okay, let me make it some round figure. Let me do 5.5 here, and let me make it 0.5. Okay, round figure. So as you are saying, it will print here 5.05, and it will do a addition here. Okay, 10 plus 6.05. Okay, it will do that 5.5 here. Then after adding that 10 plus 6.5, whatever it will print, then val1 here, you are saying it will print 10 here, right? This will update here, you are saying, to 10. Let's test this out. So here 10. Okay, run. After, okay, see here, notice, so it remains the same thing. Okay, there is no change. See, before add, val1 value is 5.5. This is the addition value, right? 10 plus 5.5, it gave me, sorry, not 10, what was that value there? Oh, sorry, I'm adding the value 2, right, which is 6.5. So 10 plus 6.5 became 16.5. That's the addition result. Then after that, see here again, val1 remained 5.5. It didn't update 10. Okay, got it? So that means this value 1, whatever you are sending, it is just getting copied to there inside that add here. Okay, the 5.5 was getting copied over here, and on top of that, whatever you do here, that remains here itself. That will not go back to whoever called. Okay, because this A just got a copy of that value. Okay, you are not getting it the actual reference. So this is called copy by value. Okay, so this is because of we are using a primitive value here. Okay, but in case of if you send a reference type of or a object reference, that time whatever you are saying, that will get affected. Okay, if you are sending a reference and if you change the value inside that reference, that will reflect back in the other way. Okay, so that thing we'll learn later. Got it? So my point was here just to show you how the things here work. So the things basically in the scientific calculator, see, even though I write a single piece of code here, I was able to extend all the functionalities or behaviors from this basic calculator. You got it? Because inside the scientific calculator itself, I got all the methods here. The add, even the multiply also, if you do it here, that also you'll get scientific. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm just multiplying here also. Okay, see all the methods you will get here. Okay, I have an error here. See, multiplication you are getting, whatever the result was there, this was the result, you just multiplied by 2 and you got this one. So everything you are getting. So you now understood the the benefit of extending, right? So rather than writing a single piece of code, we are able to achieve all the things. So that is called code reutilization, right? We are able to do the code reutilize from the scientific calculator. Okay, now inside this scientific calculator, I want to give some more behaviors to the scientific calculator specific to scientific calculation. Okay, let's say uh, public, let's say I want to calculate some exponential, okay, of a particular integer. Okay, let me calculate double. So in my exponential, at least I should get the integer, then what exponential you want to calculate, right? So in this case, let's say take the first parameter as, let's say, a, then the second one should be like integer, in the integer format should be, let's say, exponential number or that component, right? So and it will return me back, let's say, a result. Okay, in this case a result is should be of type double. Okay, in this case, So now here remains the result. How do I calculate the result? Okay, so result equal to should be, so in Java there is a library called math. Okay, there is a library called math actually, that is from java.lang. So let me inherit that. So in math there is a functionality called get exponent. Okay, I'm forgetting what is that function should be. Or what we can do, multiply. Okay, I'm forgetting. If you forget about anything, so you don't need to always memorize anything. Okay, so you can just Google search it. The thing is that any coding practice, you just need to concentrate what logic you are trying to achieve. You just try to break down your logic and what things you need to do. Then the syntax or any format, you just Google search it. Okay, that's not that is okay to basically not remember all the thing by heart, but at least we should come up all the steps what we need to achieve. Okay, once you figure out that what you need to achieve, once you are able to break down what you are supposed to do, then the step which you are not able to figure it out, just Google it. Okay, in this case, let's Google it, how to do or calculate exponential, okay, in Java. So I'll get a formula, so I'm just gonna use that, copy paste, then we'll be done. Okay, so let me open this one. I'm going to Java, calculate exponent, okay, something like that. So I got something, okay, math.power. Okay, that's what I was looking for, this power. So how do I know? Because once you know, actually, if you know a concept previously, once you able to see the summary here, you will be able to figure it out actually what you are trying to look. Okay, so in this case I was looking for that, but I forgot about what was that. So by just looking at this, I was able to figure it out. Okay, but let me take a look. Basically, see here, it is doing a while loop. That is one way, but we don't want to take the while loop away. There should be a better way. So this is also doing a for loop. That is okay. I don't want to use a for loop. There is actually, okay, here it is. See, there is a pow method actually, which will calculate the exponential for your number. Okay, so you give the base, then the exponent. Okay, base in this case here will be what is the value. On that value you are getting that exponent. Are you getting what is this when trying to do? So calculate the power of a number using power function. Okay, so in this case, power means we normally write um, in the math something like that, 2 to the power 3, right? In that case, what the value will be? So basically 2 need to be multiplied itself 3 times, right? 2 into 2, 2 into 2 again, right? 3 times. So that here 2 will be the value, then 3 becomes the exponential. So that I am trying to achieve, okay, in my scientific calculator. So I got the formula here. So I'm going to utilize that. See here, he has given base here for his own. So we can take any name here. Okay. So I just got that. So math.power. It is expecting, if you take your mouse here, it is expecting a double as the first parameter, second double as the second also. Okay. So in my case, first one is my value here as A, and the second one is the exponential number. I have taken the variable. Okay, so just return back, then result. So that's it. We are just calculating an exponential. Okay, now let's try it out. So let me go to my test class here. Here we are going to calculate, let's say, let me copy it. Expon. Okay, let me just try basic one, 2 to the power 4. Okay, it should give me 16. Let me try. See here, it is giving me 16. So it is calculating fine. So now you understand, right? So we create the scientific calculator, and we got by default all the basic methods out of basic calculator. Then on top of that, we are also extending the functionality of the basic calculator in my scientific calculator by adding some more behaviors. Okay, so we can again create some more methods, let's say to calculate some sine theta, some cos theta, something like that. We can add it. Okay, I'm gonna give you an assignment for that. Okay, to extend the behavior, add some more functionality to scientific calculator. So now things here that basically is that we're gonna learn later how to do the overloading concept here. Okay, so as you understood that basic calculator has some of the methods like this add double, it is accepting only a double a and b. Okay, I want to just give the users some other functionality called to just add a integer numbers. Okay, I don't just want doubles. Okay, so what you can write basically in the same method in your scientific calculator, let's say you can have this is already given to you, but I just want to do a int and of int of the first parameter is a int and the second parameter is int also, and the return type also I want to return as an integer. Okay, let me do this. So what I did here, I just overloaded that method. So in my scientific calculator now I'll have two basically add methods. One will be given by the basic calculator, which will be of parameter double and double, but again I'm adding or providing the users another functionality of accepting an integer values too. So basically I'm just giving user the flexibility to use the add method as it is, but in this case I'm just allowing them to accept or provide two integer values rather than double values. Okay, so that is called overloading. Okay, so that means the same signature, but you are just replacing some of the what you call replacing or just adding some of the more parameterized things or rearranging the parameters. It not just rearranging, rather than you are changing the what the parameters it will accept. Okay, so even I can have another add type to just accept even float type. Okay, let's say a return type also, let's be a float. So this is called basically a overloading. Okay, so basically the same method, but you are changing the parameters types to give the users a flexibility to whatever methods or whatever value they have, they can send it and you can just calculate it. Okay, so that's the beauty of overloading. So maybe in the next class we'll learn about more advanced concept of overloading and overriding, and that will in turn give you the concept of called polymorphism. Okay, so at a runtime we can be able to call whatever related method the polymorphing behavior. So like runtime basically polymorphism, how it works, or the compile time polymorphism, all those things we'll learn maybe in the next class. So for any doubts or confusions,
I'm good.
Gayatri?
Yeah, good.
Okay, any questions?
You mentioned right inside the parameter you give the value a equal to 10. Why does not work?
Because those are literal value, right? That the literal value is you get a copy actually. Okay, so maybe in the next class I'll show you what will happen if rather than if it is a double or integer, if you basically send a string. Okay, string also value will not change because that is kind of final, so it will also get a copy. But any object reference or maybe array type, if you change the value here, that will go to reflect back in the whoever called also. That thing will learn. But for just remember, but if it is a literal value, you are just getting a copy. Okay, that means whatever previously you had, it will have its own copy. That value basically you are copying it to here just to calculation purpose. Okay, so you just got a copy of that value and you are doing whatever you need to do here. In this case it will replace here, so the addition will do actually on top of this a here, which will be 10. Now b got 6.5. okay, so the calculation result will be 10 point plus 6.5 will be 16.5 as we saw. But while return back, this a was only the 10 was only the scope was here only. Okay, it will not return back to there because this was a literal value, because this value was placed on the stack. Okay, so we'll learn a concept called stack. So that's why whatever value you put in the stack, once the method execution done, the stack gets destroyed. So that's why. So basically this method will keep its own stack, and whoever called this one, okay, from here, not here, here, whoever called, so this main method will have its own stack values. Okay, that's why they will not overlap. Stack values not overlaps. Okay, so this method will have its own stack, and that method will have its own stack, so they don't interchange. But in case of objects, they doesn't go in the stack. Okay, maybe in the next class we'll discuss more on the stack and heap. Maybe I'll just iterate, or I'll give you an understanding how that works in the memory. I'll give you a visual diagrams of memory mappings. Okay, then you will be able to figure it out or understand more better way. So if it would be object, it will go into the heap memory, and heap memory basically it is shareable. It can be shared by instance variables. So that time if you change anything in one heap memory value, that will going to reflect in the others. It was not able to reflect back here because of it was just a literal value, and literal values get stored on the stack. That's the answer. Got it?
Yeah, it's cleared.
Okay, fine. I think we should stop here.